Hey Colin, how are you doing? Right.
Hey, how's it go?
All good, Colin. How about you?
I'm good. Yeah, very
Awesome.
excited to do this.
Likewise, Colin. Very excited to have you on board today. Awesome. So we have a minute left yet, and then we'll begin. Let me just
Perfect.
presentation till then.
Got
Yeah, I think we are about time. Uh, Let Morkoram join in. But till then, hey guys, for those who have already joined today, welcoming you in our webinar. I'm Sonakshi. I'm co-founder and CEO of Manifest AI. We'll discuss about past, present, future, everything about AI in CX. And we have the veteran of CX himself, Colin, with us today. Welcome, Colin, to our webinar. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, it's really excited to be here. AI is obviously at the front of everybody's mind right now, so happy to share some experiences and answer any questions that you guys have and have our conversation.
Amazing. Thanks, Colin. We'll begin shortly. I still see people joining in. Once they join, then we'll begin. I'll just
Awesome.
start my screen.
And I would definitely like encourage your questions and anything that you have to share as like an experience. Happy to answer all of that information or as much as I possibly can today for everybody. I know there's a lot going on in AI, so don't feel like you can be shy. Just raise your hand, join in. We'll make sure to try to include you as much as we can.
Exactly. There's no harm in asking questions. There's nothing defined as
Bring
to.
it, yeah. More.
Yeah, yeah. The more you ask, the more you learn, the more you become comfortable, the better you get in CX.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, let's begin, Colin. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining in. A room full of quorum, super excited. We are going to talk about anything, everything about AI in CX. Welcoming our superb host today of the day, Colin here. Colin, our guest would love to hear a little bit about you, about your background and your CX experience as well.
Yeah, sure. So, is it terms and customer experience? I've really been working in it as I think back on it for about 10 or 11 years now. My first experience working in customer experience was not something I ever thought I'd get my hands on, but I really enjoyed it and found myself kind of excelling at it, like many of you probably have. Went from state government doing that kind of thing into actual retail and e-commerce. And I would say the last 7 years has been an explosion of a lot of great things that are happening and at a time early in, the pandemic, it was, boy, I wish we could do this. And now it's like we absolutely can do it with AI. So it's super awesome to have that kind of tool at your fingertips. It does require some harnessing, which I've definitely had some good and bad experiences with it. So, don't be afraid if you fail with AI the first time. You can try again. It's definitely something that's going to continue to evolve and happy to be sharing my experiences with everybody today.
Absolutely, Colin. And I remember, a few weeks back when we were having a chat about this webinar, you mentioned how, AI evolved when basically a few years back, where was it? And also a decade back, how was CX without AI? And today, how rapidly you are seeing, things changing with it. So just you little bit glimpse on that journey as well, Colin. Our audience would love to hear it.
Yeah, I just, having remembered so much about my time working in call centers that were really archaic, right? A lot of people answering phones, books of SOPs on people's desks, a lot of paper at that time, right? And that's kind of where we were. And we started to evolve with knowledge bases that were just as simple as something like Google Workplace, right? Well, that still obviously, had its disadvantages. So when we started to see this evolution right around 2019, and it was a lot of up and coming companies and ideas and thoughts. The technology was just starting to get kind of introduced. I remember seeing a really early version of it and saying, this is exactly what CX needs. This is something more than Siri on your phone. It is able to answer in-depth questions and provide you, a little bit more information other than a Google search result. That's what it felt like, right? And so now AI is just taking this like slingshot approach to closing that gap between personalization and conversational AI. It's something, uh, I mean, a thousand light years away from where we were even 5 years ago, right? So it still obviously is, I think, in its infancy stage. A lot of people are trying to kind of wrap their head around what they want to use it for, how it's going to be used to utilize them. And I think that that's a big part of where we are at right now is where are the biggest impacts for AI and how can it seamlessly integrate into your team? I would say, this is my personal opinion, is that AI is not going to replace your workforce, but it's going to require you to educate your workforce and train them differently, right? You're going to need a different kind of person who's leading AI on the backside, and you're going to have to train your entire team to how to incorporate that into I guess, day-to-day conversations with customers. You don't want it to feel like it's a computer, but you also want to be able to add that human touch as well. So really a hybrid approach is, I think, where we're at right now until maybe that next rollout, which, we say the future of CX is a year or two from now. Like it feels like it's every day there's something new that is coming in CX as it, revolves around e-commerce and AI.
Absolutely. And a lot of things are going to change. The human behavior, the manager's behavior towards their team, the KPIs, KRAs that usually manager used to give to their team, everything is going to hit a refresh button in these coming years for sure.
Yeah, I think the key word that you have to be aware of is like adaptability, right? Just being able to change at a moment's notice to put together what's best for the customer and change your journey, whatever that might look like.
Absolutely, Colin. And to everyone out here, we have prepared a small presentation for you guys to walk you through such amazing things and technological advancements that are happening with AI. So I'm just going to share my screen and get started. Let's go. So yeah, just a second. Yeah, my screen's visible, Colin.
Looks good. My
Awesome.
hair was shorter then, so it's a little bit longer now. So yeah.
It looks so tidy in the photo.
Yeah, it's starting to gray though, so hopefully AI can turn that around.
It would also reduce the age going forward.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, guys, let's begin. We have Colin with us. I'm Sonakshi. I'm co-founder and CEO of Manifest AI, and we are going to talk about everything about AI and CX. Few highlights that we are going to talk about and cover today, and feel free to drop in any questions that you guys have during the session. Colin has made a promise that he's going to cover all the questions that we're going to get during the Q&A and also during the session. Anything that comes to your mind, just put it on the chat box. We'll cover it towards the end. So yeah, first highlight is how AI is driving revenue growth beyond just support, like we discussed right now. Everything from KRAs, KPIs, and also how your team is currently working is going to change in the coming years. So that also, involves things like is getting a CSAT score to a certain level or maintaining NPS or having a great super first resolution time are the only KPIs for CX team, or there will be more than that, because you are getting those right limbs, right powers in your hand through AI to deliver not just customer support as part of CX, but also deliver that consultative selling that can happen. We'll cover that shortly, but yeah, that's first highlight. Second, the impact of personalization on customer loyalty. So, what we believe is CX team are the best people to build brand loyalty. It's not those tools which, build a loyalty program. These are not just those automations on SMS or email that leads to building brand loyalty. Those are the people who are sitting there answering questions 24/7, are the ones who contribute to loyalty as much as possible. So there are tons of examples that we are going to discuss today. So that's second highlight. Third, real world AI success stories in CX. Fourth, actionable strategies for e-commerce brands. So let's go, Colin. Awesome. So yeah, like what are your thoughts, Colin, before we begin discussing about this deck over here, how AI is driving revenue growth beyond just support? What your imagination or what your experience, Colin, you think about, because these are great humans who are sitting and chatting with your customers, and customers are actually giving you time. Visitors who are not even converting are lending their time to CX. So how do you think in future those aspects could be leveraged to also generate certain business and revenue to the brand? You're on mute, Colin.
I was trying to be kind. I think the most important part of really anything, right? CX, whether you're trying to attain faster, response times, things like that, is like, how do I drive revenue? How do I contribute to the overall bottom line of our company, right? So, bringing on AI is a fantastic way to make that happen. Beyond support, though, right? Beyond of it just answering tickets and deflecting tickets, right? It optimizes things like upsells and cross sells. Like it is actively able to track somebody through their entire journey through your website. So at some point, if they add X to their cart, they've also know that because of maybe previous experiences or your browsing experience, right? Like they're going to upsell you or cross sell you something that is a little bit more, likely to increase your conversion, right? And then also, I think what we've seen too, and from support side, right, is like I love proactiveness. AI can do that. You start to kind of slow down as a browser, things start to kind of, maybe pause and looks like you're about to leave. Like AI can grab you and throw things in front of you that are, I guess, less support, but also more of in the sales realm. So I love that about it. I love that it can personalize those interactions. Whereas in the past, you've kind of had to position yourself. I think of it almost like a store, is you've had to position yourself at a few places, and your team is only so big, so you can only be at so many different places. AI can be everywhere for you. So, and again, you train that AI to be a sales driven support, you're going to see a lot of great results.
Absolutely, Colin. And how we think about AI evolving to something that becomes very consultative on your website is when you start training AI, those are not, help desk is not the only data point that actually trains AI. AI can get feeded by, multiple information. For example, if your brand is also an offline retail, or if your brand is doing business outside your whatever direct to consumer website, you can use those kind of data points to train AI and make it so powerful that it does not just act as someone who's just answering the questions he or she is getting, but it is also acting as a consultant on your website. That's where we see is where we are going to see the peak. Maybe the industry is still at its early stages, but the quicker you adopt AI, the better the training becomes eventually with time, and you will see those results. What are your thoughts, Colin? Just from an insight level standpoint, since you have managed CX for so many years, tell me one thing. Like how usually your bandwidth or your processes went into training your agents, training your CX team, and how did you make sure that there is this brand tonality being maintained whenever there's an answer that goes out? through AI?
Yeah, I mean, trying to maintain that voice across AI and your actual agents, I think is a difficult task. However, on the back end, right, there are levers that you can pull to kind of make sure that your voice aligns. I mean, obviously, I think the first thing you need to have is like the voice for the entire company or for your team, and make sure that you are always educating your AI, right? So whether that is through prompts, you want it to be happy, you want it to be friendly, you want it to be more aggressive, like make sure that you have that built into your knowledge so AI knows what to go out and do that. And constantly, I mean constantly, probably a full-time job for somebody is reviewing those AI, right? And giving that feedback. Without that, like you're basically just hiring somebody and letting them go do their own thing, which is not a good thing because AI could be 50 agents. You don't want that. So it's constantly monitoring, giving it feedback, and updating what you need the AI experience to be like.
And Colin, like this is wonderful. Like what do you think when a CX leader, decides to adopt AI for the very first time? What do you think should be those initial 1, 2, 3 steps that he or she should follow, and also ways to, educate that to their team?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is obviously what are you trying to solve, right? Understanding that very clearly. What are you trying to solve? People who are asking for a product recommendation? Are you trying to reduce time that it takes to get back to somebody? Like define those clear objectives and also like what are achievements? What does success mean for those objectives? And I think the third thing or the second thing is having, like I said, strong oversight of that experience and constantly giving it feedback, right? That's the two things that I would start with. And also making sure that you're aligning with a partner who really understands like what your objectives are, right? Because there's a lot of AI tools out there, so you want to make sure that they have experience, which you guys, manifest as a great job at, is like customizing that shopping experience, right? If that's what you're trying to do, if you have thousands of products, or if you found that people are purchasing a lot of things, and doesn't work for them, like get a product-based recommendation that helps you out. So I think those are the two things. The other thing is like don't bite off more than you can chew. That is something that can drown you right away. Start, small, strategically, and then see how that performs, and then go from there.
Absolutely, good. And then, when someone is, getting started with AI, usually they are overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, and things can go haywire, in the early days. So, like you said, third point, I really loved it, which is, like chew only things that you can really digest. So like be very very mindful of what you really want to achieve is going to get you to a place that what you really should get onboarded with. And one very amazing thing that we saw was during BFCM, the revenue contribution from AI was actually 8+%. uh, but otherwise on an average, for whatever brands we have deployed manifest, it's 5.8%. So we are already seeing those early signs. And Colin, like on this topic, just want to hear your advice and thoughts. Usually there are people who shy away from asking questions. So far till 2022, the customer experience team were handling questions of the people, of the visitor, who were okay to ask questions. But what do you think of the other half of the visitors who are not even willing to ask question because they're shy? They feel it's too much of work. Do you think, AI enabling those kind of nudges, AI enabling those kind of, say, prompts like, hey, like if you're here for XYZ, I am there to help you out, and maybe this is what you're looking for. How do you see that evolving in terms of customer experience?
I think that's one of the biggest keys to our success before we started using AI is that we went out and again, go back to my store analysis, is that we had our agent and prompting those people. They met a certain criteria, bam, we hit them with a message. Now, it wasn't personalized like AI can make it. It was very, static. And all we were trying to do was engage that customer in a conversation, whether or not our main objective was to sell that person anything at that given time. It was a lot about education. Maybe it was helping for a later sale, maybe actually increase there. So I think going out and having that conversation and nudging that customer really helps. And I think with AI, it can be personalized and it also doesn't feel very aggressive, right? It can just be like, "Hey, notice you're on this page for 30 seconds. Like, what grabs your interest?" One thing I've always tried to do, and AI helps do that, is have a conversation with the customer. Don't put the promo in front of them maybe right away. Like, what are some things you can do to kind of just feel like that person is being heard one on one? Sometimes difficult to do in AI, but with the right prompts and the right experience, like you can go out and have that conversation with the customer, and then hand it off to a team who might be able to then help if AI can't assist any longer.
Absolutely, Colin. And this actually brings me to our next highlight. Like you said, don't make them feel that these are those, flashy offers being showed to everyone. Have that conversation and then, offer anything and everything that you want. So, the impact of personalization on customer loyalty, like so far with Manifest, what we are observing is if a question is very personal, let's say, on a health and fitness store, if someone's concerned about their obesity or something that's very very personal, when they come and chat with AI, they feel their personal life is not getting bothered. They feel that they have that privacy still maintained and they can answer any kind of questions. And this behavior felt so obvious because even for me, anything that comes to my life, I go to chat gpt and start asking questions. I feel really safe, instead of asking that question to a friend and then that friend transfers it. So, what are your thoughts, Colin, on personalization as a key factor while managing customer experience?
I've been a big fan of personalization well before AI, right? How can you have a unique experience with that customer, make them feel like they're being heard? It is difficult to do, but I had this old train of thought was know two things about the person before you have any conversation, whether they walk into the room at a party or hopefully, it's a customer shopping on your site. So personalization from AI, or just even in your experiences, if you're dealing with it, is that AI quickly can tap into all of their emails that they've opened. It can look at their order history. Like it can go out and grab all of this information in snap of a finger and can start to help that customer, right? So your example here, hey, here are two different options. What are you thinking, right? I know that this person's bought potentially six different items of the same type, but in different colors, right? Hey, we have a new color that launched. You don't have this in your cart. It doesn't look like you've purchased it. Bam, let's throw that in front of you. So I think personalization is, a way to tailor that experience to them that is really, I think, easier to do than people think because you have all this information that AI can go out and quickly touch uh, much, much faster than any human could ever do.
Yeah, absolutely, Colin. And what are your thoughts, like one tip or piece of advice that you would like to give to CX leaders when they're starting to think about deploying personalization in their customer experience journey?
Uh, One piece of advice. I think it's a, gosh, it's probably making sure that you understand what they're looking for at that moment, right? Are they browsing? Are they shopping, right? And obviously it's going to vary based off of what your product is. Um, Make sure you understand that personalization and have that key conversation with them. Like I said, engage in that conversation. Don't just try to sell them something like right away, right? Try to learn a little bit more about them or present them with other options um, before you're kind of trying to sell them something. And don't just jump from, okay, great, see you, bye. Continue that conversation. Be available for them throughout that entire purchase journey, whatever that might be.
Go above and beyond. Let's say you help
Yeah.
them in the early stage of their journey where they were trying to find a product. If now they are on a checkout page, or even if they have purchased, a small thank you personalized note can also make a lot of difference. And what we are seeing, Colin, across brands that are working with Manifest, there's an average 3x LTV gain when someone actually ends up interacting with AI chat. There's one brand called Michelle brand. It's a beauty brand that was like early customers of Manifest. For them, LTV was I think close to about $100 for people who are not interacting with AI. But when it comes to AI, it's $400 plus. So real
Yeah.
clear differentiation on, and I can totally relate to it because just in October, it was my mom's birthday, and I went to Sephora to shop, few things for her. And for me, that experience became very special because there was a retail sales associate who guided me through everything I wanted. And I still remember her name. The name was Mira, and it was special. So I feel if we are able to deploy that on website, it's definitely going to give that LTV upsurge to brands.
Yeah, our LTV experience with personalization campaigns, and we would do this during certain times of the year, the hard way, before AI, is that we would see at least 3x the conversion too, just based off of that. So there is definitely um, an opportunity to really drive revenue through personalization. And I would say, you're going to see results probably faster here than maybe some other areas as well.
Absolutely, Colin. I second that. Moving to our next thing, this we'll cover later. This was a small glimpse which we put, around personalization. When someone's coming asking a simple question, show me your bestsellers. Like if it's an agent that you have not trained yet, there could be n number of possibility. If agent already knows about your bestsellers, they can give it out. If you're using a tool which understands what products has been bestsellers most ordered this week or past month, they can give it out. But if not, these are like kind of answers that we usually get. So these are like few level one charts that you can protect with AI, because you are spending a lot of time investing a lot of time training it. So on the right hand side, you see a manifest chart, which is like, it's bang on, it actually replies to what is being asked. So this was one small tip for personalization. Now, coming to real world AI success stories, we all know we are super early, super early in our journey with AI and CX. But what we are seeing, in these early days are already, few things that are very clear. If you're deploying AI chat as the level one chat interaction or a level one touch point for your customers, around 85 to 90% of the queries are being handled by AI. And then your agents also get time for other things. You don't have to bug them with so much load of chats that come in on a daily basis. Let them rest, let them focus on right things and build things for you. So this is one brand called Offency. On chat, my team will also put a link to that brand. We saw 4x conversion rates and saved around 85% of their support cost. With Manifest on the right hand side, therapy deccan boosted add to cart rates to almost 600% with Manifest. So, like we talked about revenue, we talked about personalization, Colin, but what we believe is this can only happen if the underlying funnel, which is how many people are actually coming and interacting with your product, how many people are adding things to cart, how many people are actually proceeding with that cart value to their checkout and then finally making a purchase. So every touch point is important. So what are your thoughts, Colin, on this customer journey, and from a CX POV, how should a CX leader with with this advent of AI should rethink about this customer journey holistically?
Yeah, I love this because this is exactly what AI is supposed to do, right? It is supposed to drive revenue for you, right? Conversion rates save costs for your team, right? AI has the unique ability that it can go out and have all these conversations without raising your cost, right? There's always some cost to it, but it's not a butts in seat kind of experience. And I think the most, meaningful thing, right? And your two brands here, right? We had a brand that I worked with that had probably no shy of 4,000 SKUs, right? Different variants of SKUs, flavors, nutritional facts, that kind of information. There was no way that my team would ever be experts in that, right? And so anytime somebody would ask, it was kind of like our response time was not great, right? When you asked AI, I'm looking for something that's going to give me energy towards the end of my workout, has low carbs, comes in this flavor. Like you're asking a pretty difficult question. AI was able to not only give you a result, it was able to give you multiple results, feedback from other customers, Um, and then you could say yes or no, add to cart, right? And it was a tremendous, tremendous inclusion in our tech stack, right? It made our lives so much easier. It freed up our team to go work larger issues, right? We were looking for this kind of tier one customer experience, followed by tier two, which was I need a little bit more. I'm trying to dial in my information. That's like where we were. But in tier one, it was like entry level customers. Bam, here's exactly what you need to get going. And it tapped into our PDPs, it tapped into our knowledge base, it tapped in all of the Shopify sales data that you mentioned earlier, right? So it was able to do this huge lift in a matter of seconds. And we noticed that, the feedback from customers was obviously really exciting because they could get what they need and didn't feel like it was a sales pressure. And they had a lot of information that backed up those products that we could have given the customer, but it was immediately available for them to review. So that was our real world success story. I mean, there's probably a million of them out there, but that was the one that solved a huge concern that I had is like, how can we become experts in 4,000 products? Like, we just can't. We just can't. So AI did all of that for us.
Absolutely. The underlying statement is make your customers feel best version of themselves, make them feel special. And when you do that, ball is in your court then.
Yeah. And the nice thing was, too, it was a very self-service experience. So they weren't having to wait for us. Like they could solve their own issues, which was great, especially in that tier one. That tier one was so key to this.
Absolutely good and super interesting. I'll just skip this. This is one very cool chat. So there's a bike store that's using AI chat through Manifest, and what we saw was, someone came and asked, where do the foot pegs attach to the Mod Easy App Hanger 3 with sidecar? AI gave out an answer, and there was a purchase that happened, which was worth around $3,500. So
Yep.
imagine a customer getting dropped off just by not knowing what they really wanted. And this is not the question the customer typed. This was a prompt that AI gave, seeing the past data. AI literally reads the past data and gives out a conversational starter for those people who are actually shy from asking right set of questions. So I just
Yep.
so
Engage those people, right? Engage them.
yeah,
Definitely key.
yeah, absolutely. A few actionable strategies, but before I go into what we have put here, Colin, from your mind, what you think could be one or two actionable strategies that you would like to give out to brands that are coming and listening to this?
Yeah, I mean, actionable strategies is like I think finding again the right partner who understands what your end game is, right? You can try to solve for 100 different things, but you have to find the right AR partner who understands what you're trying to achieve and make sure that they, have that tool in their toolbox to kind of make that happen. I think the other, actionable strategy is like again, start small and scale fast. Like go for what you know is actually going to work, right? Don't replace your humans. Just go for the things that are mundane, right? The return requests or Wismo requests. Those are
Yeah.
things that AI can absolutely handle. And make sure that everything that you are receiving from AI has somebody sitting on top of it and constantly giving that feedback to AI and also able to scale like what is next, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We had put almost similar points here, Colin. Give L1 support to AI, outsource it so that your team can focus on what's more important. Think CX as an opportunity for consultative selling or building that rapport with your customer, not just solving their support, and start getting your hands dirty. Even if it's okay, you don't adopt AI for your brand, but as a CX leader, it is very, very crucial for you to get started in that journey, at least personally. Start learning those tools, start understanding how other brands are adopting it from their failures, from their successes, but start learning. It's high time. So
I remember something that was this was well before AI came out, and I worked for the state here in Colorado. And I mentioned something to somebody, and they're like, "We can't do that." And I mentioned, "Well, why?" They're like, "Well, we can't just take that down, right? It's bad. It's." I was like, "It's up there." I was like, "Well, if it doesn't work after a week and we don't see any results, just take it down." put back what was there before. I feel the same thing about AI. Is like just get in there, and if it doesn't work, then all right, rethink what you have to do. There's no harm, I think, in putting AI out there, other than not doing it, right? So get started today if you haven't already.
Amazing. Special offer. Anyone who wants to claim it, 30 days free trial with us and free AI mockups. We do special AI mockups on where you can place AI assistant as part of your PDP, as part of your homepage. So if you need those kind of consultation from our side, we are happy to do that for you guys. So thanks so much. Any questions on chat, guys? We are anyway above time, but feel free to put up any questions that you have. Colin, I'm so sorry we are exceeding out of time.
Ah, it's
Maybe.
okay. Yeah. I
Amazing.
I love AI. So if there's anything that anybody has questions on and feels like they want to connect, I'm happy to talk more with them and make sure that they're in their right journey. And I will say, Manifest is for me again, product recommendation was key to our team, and that is what Manifest, accelerates in. So if that's what you're looking for to help kind of reduce those costs, like definitely get in with Sonakshi here and her team.
Thanks so much, Colin. And I don't see a lot of questions here and any questions here on chat. Guys, if you have any question, just do email us. We'll forward it to Colin and get back to you. So thank you so much, Colin, for joining us. Thank you for your
Thank
kind.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and good luck out there. It's a lot of fun. Just remember to enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it. That's the matter. Bye bye, Colin. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.